you might be wondering, what is this podcast all about? So what we have in store for you are some very important, very intriguing episodes on compliance and what does it take to run a business properly. Welcome to our first episode of the amazing BIZcare Podcast. Now on today's episode, we will have a known figure within the Mapen area. This man has helped a lot of people to get access to financial facilities, right? So if you have a business running, right, and you need some capital, you need a credit card, and you need some other stuff to make your business run more efficiently, this is the episode that you need to tune into, right? And a matter of fact, you need to subscribe as well.
Yeah.
So
hit the button right
you
there.
need to hit the button and start share with a friend and all of that. Now, our guest today is as I said, is a known figure within the Mapen industry, what they call it, business commerce industry, right? He has over 10 years experience within the field of banking, right? He started from as little as, I'm going to use little, because we don't want nobody start. Go
Pretty sad.
He started from the position of a bank teller, right? Where he transitioned onto a loan officer, where they call him the star.
The greatest.
Yeah. Got a lot of people car loans, right? Then he transitioned up to the business facilities where you got a lot of people business loans, and we can attest to that because the network alone we have with him,
Yeah.
Him get even New Life boss. Yeah, I expose New Life boss thing. Yeah, which is our sponsor, by the way.
Yeah. You need to run on over to his page.
Right, and check out the funerals and stuff.
The weddings are amazing,
Right.
Alright, super.
So, yes. So, with no more further ado, welcome our guest today from the
NCB.
streets of NCB, Mark Bailey.
The greatest. You left off the part there,
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, Mark. So, I want you to, because I don't know all of the journey, right? So, I'd love you to tell our
Viewers.
audience, our viewers.
Well, you pretty much got it.
The amazing journey that you have.
Well, you pretty much got it right. I did start as a teller, and it was something that was exciting for me because my aim was to be the fastest teller on the line. So, most of the times when I'm on the line and persons come in and the line start back up and when I come back from lunch and hear the persons in the line say, yeah man, I may tell you about man, we soon come out of here someone, understand? Yeah. So I like that little vibe, but then telling was very fun. We used to do a lot of fun activities.
You actually like bank telling?
Yes, it was, I started there and it was very fun. Like, if the customers come in with coins, you time the line, you make sure that you are not the person to do it and all that. So, but then it had its perks.
So that's what you wanted to do from inception?
No.
That's what you studied?
No, that's not what I studied. I had nothing to do with banking when I studied. I was home, graduated from UA. And
the greatest.
Yes,
Let me just say.
Well, I forgot try again. As a youth tech man.
No.
You'll never, nobody, no.
I feel away.
So as I was saying, right? Graduated from UA. Couldn't get a job. I was home for like 6 months, just wake up, eat, play game, use the bathroom and go back to sleep. And I was there one day and then, funny enough, it was actually my bishop that called me and be like, Mark.
So you're that church man, Mark?
Father pastor.
Oh, you got
yeah.
As a Glenmere man.
As a Glenmere man.
I forgot to say, you did. You used to play, I wish I had an instrument.
Me used to play keys.
The keys, yes. Yes.
A
keys on your show.
I mean, I'm a pastor child. I know my light is shining right now. So, yeah, man. So, Bishop called me and said, Mark, how would you like to work in a bank? And, if you look at the bank door, you see 8:30 to 2:30. So, at the time, I thought that come 2:30, bank was done. Like I go to school. So, definitely, I said, yeah, man, definitely. Send in my resume, and I got through. Actually, I did 2 interviews to secure the job. I was supposed to start as a customer service rep, but them say, you know what, I'll put you on the teller line. Went on the teller line, shell it down, and then, worked very well with my manager. My manager said, all right, we'll give you something else to do, because I was very eager to learn. I'm excited about it. So came off the teller line, I started doing stuff like relieving the senior teller and learning new areas and so forth, taking initiative to learn new areas. Then I went as a delinquency officer. So I started calling people about getting my money. Used to actually visit people and try,
Boy, people really love on you.
Yeah.
So
everybody get the loan, but they don't pay back.
I see him like them Monday. We call him Monday again.
The bailiff.
Bailiff Monday.
Yeah, something like that. But I'm not serious like that. Me call them and say, so boy, we don't want the loan go bad, Me come pick it up, man. I don't know bad up thing we used to do. And then did that. Left from there to a sales clerk, so start loan officers would come in and bring in documentation. I would input it, get the loan approved, prepare the documentation, and when the customer sign, meet the customer so then sign. Then after that now, our one loan officer actually left the bank, and they just say, hey, put Mark in the position.
Opportunity to come.
Yeah, because at the time I was still putting in loans and then giving it to the loan officers. So when they say, put Mark in the position. Started, and I do my thing. I actually started in place Chapperton. I probably don't know Chapperton, but upper Clarendon. Started Chapperton, and then sometime later I requested a transfer. I came to Maypen, did my thing in Maypen. I think I got 3 promotions in Maypen.
Yeah, that's space all time. How long?
I'm gonna say the first 2 promotions happened in I think I did 2 or 3 years. And then the last one happened in about the 4th year.
So quick.
Yes, man.
You know much man I work 5 or 6 years, 7 years, I can't get a promotion.
Yeah, the thing is, you see, because I requested to move there, I can't go there, go sit up.
Yeah.
You understand? And I say, I just did land there. So they gave me an opportunity to come there, I have to put out the work and show my value.
110%.
Yeah, man, 110%. And I have a manager that work with me and things. So, open a lot of opportunities. And as I say, I'm always eager to learn something new. Because if you keep on doing the same thing, it just kind of get boring after that time. So did that, went into business banking, and then I realized, this is where the meat and the matter. I mean, me used to love...
Man, I star people.
Me used to love the loan, being a personal loan officer, because, I like how people feel when they get them first.
Yeah.
I remember when I just get my first car, I used to come out and look through the door and say, okay, so I know that feeling there. So I make people experience that. And then, after a while, my name get out there and other opportunities.
So you see why we say known. He's known.
I know about the known crowd, but me grow up seeing my people help people. So in the industry, I go help people, you see me? So and that's the thing, because it does have a benefit of helping people. Because for one, I don't join line of KFC, is that what I say? I don't join line of Juicy Beef, so it help people and it come back around. But went into business banking, realized this is where the meat and the matter is. This is where you really start learning banking and understanding businesses. And it was very educational and very interesting for me, because I started look at things that are just a different, broader horizon.
Analytical.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Looking at financial statements and understanding everything from just a set of documents just made a whole lot of difference.
You did any form of accounting? No, financial.
Apart from the accounting that I did with you. Pretty much a lot of what I did was learn. I had good teachers in the bank. And the bank also had courses that they provide to kind of prepare for your next job or prepare for your next role. So they did that, and you learn as you went along. You do things. One thing, I'll make a mistake, but I'm not make it twice. You understand? So if I do something and I know the persons who have the knowledge, I'll say, look here, so I'm new to this still. I'm set up my phone, nobody to kill me. Just call me and teach me. And, you understand?
I know if you talk.
And that's where it came from. But that's the journey. Now I'm at Left Maypen, and now I'm at the head office in a similar role, but
big league. No skimmage again.
Similar role, but different client.
Yeah. Champion, you have a championship, I have a Premier League, right up the side.
Yeah, boy.
And I look for go Champions League next.
But me not forget to my account.
All right.
Yeah, man.
So we can go straight into it and ask him a question based on the products.
Yeah.
Like what type of products?
Different type of products.
Well, of course, it's NCB. We offer everything, right? So it starts from
especially for we're trying to pinpoint a business customer. Mm-hmm. Like what kind of products do you offer? Alright,
so for the business customers, of course, accounts. Checking account, savings account, all those, US foreign currency. Upon opening an account, those customers can avail of point of sale machines, and they can avail of e-commerce services. They can avail of credit cards, and of course they can avail of business loans, overdrafts, just a wide range of facilities.
Anything.
Yeah, but it all starts at opening an account, starting a relationship with us, right? I mean, we're not saying that you necessarily have to have a relationship with us to get something, but it's good when you're just starting a business and you come and open an account with us and start passing the flows through us. You realize that over some time you can get some financing from the bank.
So that's the thing. We always try to explain to our customers the importance of having a business bank account when the business is newly registered, rather than waiting until say a year, 18 months after. Tell us the requirements to open a business account.
Alright, so to open a business account when the business is newly registered, and when I say newly registered, we're talking from inception to up to 18 months.
Yeah.
Pretty simple. All you would need is just cash flow projection and your TCC.
TCC won't run from.
Yeah, man, definitely TCC. You need to be tax compliant, and then of course the regular documentation, which is the ID and TRN for the directors and the company secretaries and so forth. Right? If it's a company, we'll ask you for a stamp. We don't have to have a seal to stamp the documents. So you're signing on behalf of the company. Two persons signing on behalf of the company. If it's a sole trader, of course, though, you don't necessarily need a stamp. If you're a partnership as well, you don't necessarily need a stamp. But a lot of partnerships normally tend to have a stamp.
Yeah.
But definitely for sole traders, you don't need a stamp. But yeah, pretty much just your TCC and your cash flow projection, which BIZcare can assist with the cash flow projection and TCC. If your business is over 18 months though, what we'll require is your financial statements. So we'll need 1 year financial statement and the TCC. So instead of the cash flow, we replace that with the financial statement TCC, and of course the regular
the same document. Yeah.
And also sometimes in the business, in case they lapse over the period, and they definitely didn't start in the 18-month period. Sometimes they can literally get some form of confirmation from a public account.
Right. So sometimes persons register a business and they don't necessarily start trading or start operating that time. Maybe a year after, 2 years after, because let's take COVID for instance. A lot of persons registered the business, but they didn't start operating because COVID just hit, and then kind of hold off for 2 years or whatever.
Yeah.
So in those cases, what we'd ask for is a letter from a public accountant to say that the person wasn't trading, and then we'd also ask for a nil return to show that they filed nil for those years. Right? Once you get those, we basically treat it like a new business. So then all you'd still need is just the TCC and the cash flow, and you can proceed.
Right. So viewers, you get it this time. We can't say I'm negative because I can't believe in that 2022 people still now on a business account. It just don't make no sense to me. You now get no access to no credit card, right? Because you want a business credit card. You now get no access to no loan so easy. And you now get no access to the point of sale machine. Everybody has swipe now. Swipe this card now. So you need it. It's just something that you have to have. Even for Kenya yourself. Frankly. No man,
you can. You have people still can, and you have the point of sale machine where you can connect to your phone, and people can swipe and see what.
See a lot of people using that one. That one, they want to just swipe.
Yeah, man, I have a mobile one, and a good one. So there's really and truly persons don't really have any excuse right now to show for the money not to be passing through the account.
Especially the bank like NCB.
Yeah. So
no, the other bank people, nobody. You guys are
no
really
disrespect.
no
disrespect.
Right, so we'll have to call on you. Right.
Come on. But for someone to just raise a business, I strongly suggest, implore them actually to open a business account from the inception, right? Because one, it's much easier at that time, right? And two, the quicker you start the relationship with the financial institution, is the quicker it opens opportunities for you. So for instance,
when I'm cutting off, you need to pinpoint the relationship, because a lot of people always ask me like, which bank is a better bank to join?
and you tell them NCB, of course. Yes, continue.
They work NCB. But what I always tell them is that they say I can tell you the better bank, but what is most important is literally the relationship that you have with the bank. Because some people have a business account already, have a personal account already, and they already have a good relationship. So depending on the relationship that you had with that bank, that banker or your bank with your personal bank or anybody you have a relationship with, and they know say you did operate informally before you're ready to go in the business way, the relationship counts, because what you have is a man or a woman that will go further for you because of the connection that you have. Now you go down back fresh now and have to go build the next relationship, which is good, but the relationship always counts.
No, well, I can tell you, any banker will tell you that what we really sell is relationship. Because what I'm offering is no different from what another bank is offering. All banks offer the same banking services. But I mean, you might have rates different or tenor different, but it's basically the same financial services we're offering. What will make a customer come to me with my 1% higher interest rate is because of the relationship that we'd establish. And I mean, relationship goes a far way, because once you and it's a mutual thing. When I say relationship, it's not just you having a relationship with the bank, but also the bank having a relationship with you. Once we know your business, we can say, all right, this is payroll week. We don't see anything. We don't see the funds coming from wherever. You probably need a temporary overdraft just to pay your staff or whatever. Based on the flows that we normally see coming to our accounts, we can say, all right, you know what? Him normally coming in with this amount of money. We can take that chance.
I want to hear what I say. You can get a temporary overdraft to pay your staff if you didn't realize the money in the day. You see a relationship properly.
Important.
Yeah, man, relationship is key.
Right.
Because naturally, like your family member come to you and say, oh, let me $10,000. You give him. If a stranger come to you and say, oh, let me $10,000. All them say, yo, in good faith. And say, boy, I'm not doing like that, you know. You understand?
Yeah.
So relationship goes a far way, man. Definitely.
So like when you bring in the family thing, we'll just go that in the next question right there. Since you're directly there, how important is credit score?
Credit score. All right, so
in this day and age,
crucial. Crucial, because I've been granting loans to customers before we used to pull credit report, and what happens is that customers might come to you and say, all right, they need a loan. You look at the pay slip, it's fine. You say, Cheryl, you having a loan elsewhere? No, nope. Never take a loan yet. You understand? And then when they give them a loan, they have something over Scotia or another bank, any bank, right? And it facility gone bad, they don't pay it. Then left it over there, so come on NCB. Then take some for NCB, then left it over there, so gone to our next bank. So I mean, at first, yeah, man, they change. What? Yeah, man, no, man. Sorry, I go somewhere else, man. I'll start collecting cash. But yeah, so the credit score is a crucial tool in our assessment these days. I mean, what they say is no credit is as bad as bad credit. Because some person feel like they don't want to borrow, right? And they prefer to use their cash and do certain things. But if you don't have a credit score, it makes it more difficult for you to get a facility. You know? All right. So what I normally tell a customer is, yes, you have your cash and whatever. You don't want to take a big facility now. Fine. Take a simple credit card. Because what a credit card is for person. Person think that a credit card is something that's gonna put them in trouble. I mean, if you're not disciplined, any facility will put you in trouble. But what a credit card does is, if you have the money, you're able to spend the bank's money. I'm telling you, I always say this to customers, a credit card is the only interest-free loan you get from a bank. And the reason why I say that is because once you use the money off the credit card and you pay it by the due date or before the due date, you don't pay the bank a cent. And what happens is you have gotten benefits from using credit card, whether it's points to travel or some cash back or something. So you're basically earning to use your money. You understand? And then what the credit card does is it builds your credit score. Because even sometimes customers might have even a bad debt facility, and they might have paid off the bad debt, right? But they're still, when they check pull the credit report, it's still showing that they had a bad debt facility, or their track record is not so good. Of course, we don't necessarily are going to decline a customer based on a track record like that. What we'll do is look at it by case basis. But it could be a certain scenario or a certain case why the customer lost their went bad with the facility. It could lose the job. It could lose their job.
Yeah.
Or something could happen. Maybe they missed the payment, or sometimes just total neglect. So we're looking at it on a case by case. Based on the scenario, we look and say, all right, we're willing to take this risk with this customer. Or we might say, all right, you know what, we're not going to take this full risk. We're not going to give you unsecured. Give us some security, build back your relationship with us, and then we can take more chances with you. You understand? So credit score, crucial these days.
How long does it take for one to amend the credit score, fix the credit score?
You know, to be honest with you, Kemar, I'm not 100% sure. I'm normally say within 6 months of using a facility, you normally see your credit score start to rebuild itself. But it depends on how bad it is, because I know with some institutions, when you have a bad debt facility and when you pay it off using a compromise or an amnesty, it stays on your credit report. So yes, you might have closed the account and you no longer have a bad debt, but you have that record on your permanent file. Whereas if you had paid off the facility in full, then it basically would have been expunged from your record. So a lot of persons take an amnesty, and yes, it is good because you want to close the debt. But when you're ready to go on for another facility, sometimes that amnesty prevents you from getting the facility. So as much as possible, if you're able to pay it off and not take an amnesty, not take a payout, pay it off in full. It helps you out later on.
And what you take from the person after they pay out, and we get a letter from?
Yeah, man. All we need is a letter from the institution, and that is if it is still showing up on the credit report and reflecting a certain status. Then we'd ask, all right, go to the institution, let us get, because I'll be honest with you, credit bureau a lot of times have incorrect information.
Jesus.
A lot of times that incorrect information.
Sure. We're not going to talk about this. But make that stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, make that stay. They have a lot of time. They have. All right. So since we go to the credit, I will make the viewers know say, all right, you can't fix your credit scores. If you have that bad credit card or you have that bad loan facilities, you can't get it fixed, right? Going to the meat of the matter, what does it take for somebody to get a business loan?
Business loan. All right. So typically we ask for, all right, so these are the documents, cut and dry. 2 years financial statements, a cash flow projection, TCC, and depending on the amount, might also invoices to show what the funds is going to be used for, right? Now, as I say, we'll look at things case by case. Once you establish a relationship with NCB, I can tell you that if you're registered for a year, after 6 months, you're able to you can get a pre-approved credit card based on the flows that's coming through the account. After a year, we can look at giving you a facility. And of course, depending on the flows, it could be unsecured or it can be secured.
And depending on how well they pay that credit card as well.
Right, and depending. So normally, customer comes and open an account and say, look here, pass everything through the account.
Yeah.
You're going to use it by the same day, you're going to use it about 5 minutes later,
Yeah,
pass it through the
that's what
account.
we always tell them.
Because you don't get pay slip.
Right.
The business don't get pay slip. So that is what the bank is going to use to say the type of cash flow that the business is handling. Understand? And then we kind of use that in our assessment to say what you can afford. Of course, along with your financial statements and cash and your cash flow projections.
All right, let me just interject. A lot of the banks now, people, our viewers, they are not using this thing where you tell me say you make $1 million and only 100,000 pass through the account. Most of the banks never cut it out. So, as what Mark said, you need to pass this money through the account. We preach it like gospel, sure, preach it like gospel. Every time we just need to be disciplined, carry the money to the bank, and if you're not going to draw it out like 5 minutes after, like what Mark said, it's still approved as earnings or revenue.
Yeah.
Right? So nobody tell you say you can't reach at the bank. It's too hard to reach at the bank. You have online account now, you have deposit.
You have a drop box.
You have a drop box now. You have all type of things.
Yeah, you can't even make guardsman come pick it up from your
Right,
workplace.
right.
Yeah, man.
If it's bulky.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You have them cash rich customers.
Yeah.
So yeah, man.
So, yes.
So man, as much as possible, you try to pass the funds through your account. I mean, we're not gonna expect say everything gonna pass your account. You're still gonna have some cash sales, but we're expecting that at least 80% you're passing through your account. And I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't have to be one bank you're passing it through. Right? Of course, we want to go through NCB, but I mean, you know, if you don't want to put all eggs in one basket, you have two banks that you're banking with, maybe because your customers use that bank, so much easier for the funds come over or whatever. I mean, just try as much as possible put the money through the account, because it helps you. It helps you when you're doing your financial statements, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, man. So that's what I would say. But I mean, there are some customers that still love to do them thing old-fashioned and they love to handle them cash. And when we look at the financial statements, we're not able to match it back with what is passing through the account. So in cases like those, what we use to kind of do the assessment to see the cash that the business is handling is really the tax returns.
Boil back down.
Yeah.
That one is safe, you know. Everybody's supposed to know that too, because you know if you're going to tell the government, say, I mean, $100 million, which is the right thing, quote unquote the right thing, you know, you have some taxes to pay. So a lot of people don't really feel comfortable using that way, right? But we see instances, Mark, where people do it.
Yeah. Jamaica, this one. But this is Jamaica, you know, Jamaicans are always find a way to go around it. Because, I mean, on party can free, you still have to find Jamaicans that jump the fence. So, yeah, man, but I mean, if you want to get the financial statements, naturally we have to match it back with something, right? We can't just, because anybody can just do a financial statement. So we have to match it back with something. So it's either we're going to look at the flows on the account, or we have to look at what you report to the government and see if that's matching back with the financial statements. But I mean, there are ways to get facilities. So all the customer needs to do is approach you, make you prepare the financial statement, and of course you know the procedure. Yeah. So once you see that, hey, this discrepancy is there, there's like great variance,
man,
you know that.
Stone out of water sometimes, it's rough, but you have customers who it's really improving.
Yeah,
like you can see from 2016, 17.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Because you know these days banks are fighting against checks and cash as much as possible. We want it to be a transfer or so forth, because you know the forges and the fraudulent activities and so forth. One person always saying that they are scared of online banking and so forth. But you know fun thing about online banking, you can't always trace the cash. So once money leave your account, you can't trace it. Right? You must can't trace it. You can't trace cash.
Right.
So once cash gone, it's just gone, right? So I always encourage persons to use it. I mean, if something is wrong, of course the bank is going to do their investigation, and if it is the bank's, well, if you're compromised, fraudulent compromise, then the bank will make sure you're taken care of. Right. You understand? So I always ensure that you do that.
Yeah, I fell a victim to that, the compromising thing, and I got back my money.
Yeah,
get it back like a day after. Yeah, man. Take long. Right.
That happened to me as well, man. I don't want to get the phone card money, but that's what I did.
Are you seeing me? I don't see me.
No, I don't want to say what I want to say what.
Mark, I want you to stress the importance of the TCC now. Like, you hear us talk about the bank account, you hear the same TCC. And you hear us talk about now
the loan.
And you hear TCC again. How important is the TCC?
Alright, so this is how the bank looks at it. The government has first rights to everything, right? So if we lend you some money and you are not compliant to the government, and the government say, look here, you owe me money for them years here, you need to come pay me. And you're going to take loan.
You can buy inventory.
Yeah.
And the business about my taxes.
Government is about to bank. Government say, look here, come pay my taxes, and you have to go pay the bank money back afterwards. That I feel not in the business. So that is why the bank also tax compliant, because we know say if anything fam, we need to. I mean, we love to give loans, but we love to calico payment, right? That is where the whole point of it. So if a customer is not compliant with the government, then it make it very difficult for one to give you something, because.
That's the government.
Yeah, that's the government, you know. So at the end of the day, they're gonna get first preference, and then afterwards it's us. So we have to protect ourselves as well. And of course, if you're earning certain revenue, you're expected to pay your taxes.
Yeah.
I mean, Sometimes I don't look on my pay slip. So,
By the way, people get mixed up.
so if I pay taxes and I do my part, if you're making certain revenue, you do your part and pay your taxes as well. I mean,
and if you're having trouble with getting your TCC, we're always here.
Yeah.
It's very easy to contact us.
Yeah, man, can work with you. And then the government has means and ways of starting out your taxes. It's not going to say, all right, you owe me $10 million, give me $10 million right now.
Right.
No, you work out something in a payment plan and you get your thing sorted out.
Right.
Yeah, man, you need a TCC, man. You need to make sure that your thing compliant.
Right. Mm-hmm. So you realize now that most people must realize, based on the heavy promotion that the DBJ is doing, right? Tell us, give the process work with you,
Partnering with the DBJ.
All right, so DBJ, Development Bank of Jamaica. We're partnering with them to offer customers sometimes, well, a lot of times better rates. DBJ is all about helping small businesses, right?
Right.
What they tend to do is they will, if you're interested in something from them, let's say, all right, go to NCB. NCB will do their assessment and say, all right, based on what we see here, we're recommending DBJ to give you the funds. And then basically the bank is pledging your thing, the bank is vouching for you to DBJ. Once we're comfortable, we say, DBJ, yeah man, you can give BIZcare this facility.
110 mil.
Yeah man, can give them 110 mil. And what we do then is we would collect the payment and then pay to DBJ. Now there are numerous facilities that we have with DBJ. Sometimes we go directly to DBJ to borrow the money to lend to the customer. Sometimes DBJ gives the bank a reserve that we can lend from to give to the customer, right? But I've done quite a few DBJ facilities, and I mean, from back then it was a little bit more tedious, but now it's pretty much smooth. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't even realize that another bank is involved because the process is pretty much smooth. Like, things just work simultaneously at NCB, right? Things work simultaneously, right? So as much as possible, and their rates are very attractive.
Yes.
So as much as possible, if I realize that I can possibly give you something on the DBJ which will work out better for you in the long run in terms of the interest rate, I'm going to tend to give you, because it's just smart. If we can give you a loan from DBJ at this rate and you can afford this payment, next time you want something, you mean the less money you're paying on this loan means you have more money to pay on the next loan you're coming for, right? I just common sense, right? So I'll use on the DBJ, which is better for the customer in terms of interest rate and payment, but it also affords the customer more cash flow if they need to take additional funding, right? So as much as possible, I use up DBJ money if I can.
Right. And what kind of rates do they usually?
Alright, so you know BOJ recently increased rates. So I know that most banks have increased their rates, their interest rates. DBJ, I think they're going to increase the rates, but not yet. But from what I can remember, it's normally, I know they have a facility now that's 5%. That's a recovery loan. And it's normally between that up to maybe 8.5. And that's between the two banks. So between DBJ and NCB, you're borrowing at 8.5.
I know how big the years.
Well, years and interest rate depend on the type of facility. But if let's say working capital support, it's normally like 4, maybe 5 years max, right? If it's, let's say for instance, you want to purchase a property or some acquisition, asset acquisition, then you can look at 10 to 15 years, even longer. Mm-hmm.
That's like
land, property, equipment, build, yeah.
Right.
Mm.
Right. So looking at the DBJ, based on the interest rate, would you say it's a little bit better to go there?
But the thing is, you can't really go directly to DBJ.
You still have to go to a bank.
You have to go to a bank. Yeah, you have to go to a AFI. So that's a financial institution that's going to apply for the facility from DBJ on your behalf, right?
And the same, it will require the
same documentation.
And the cash flow projection.
And the cash flow projection.
Right.
But you see, I told you need 2 years financial statements, right? What I would say is that once you open my account with NCB, I'll say after a year, you're able to avail of facilities. So as much as possible, just open an account opens you up to opportunities.
That's good. So I think we have covered it.
Yeah, basically. Do you love what you do, Mark? Do you love what you do?
Of course.
You do?
Of course, I love what I do. I love putting smiles on people's faces. I like to provide financial solutions. I mean, you know, when somebody's in a tight, you see, I like to problem solve. So when somebody's in a tight spot, or you know, the financial statements, you know, kind of not so attractive, I like to. It's like I have an ego complex. My life to come in and save the day. So once I'm doing that, I'm good.
Right, so superhero Mark.
Yeah man, superhero. Yeah man, I like to do that man. Like help people.
Okay, that's very
They
good.
boil back down to him study still.
So we have come to the end of another empowering episode from Mr. Bailey.
The greatest.
The greatest.
Oh, I feel like what about
The greatest, Mr. Bailey.
You take.
Right. Mark, you're not telling them where you're at now. You never said that. Why, you know what people do already? You can't tell me though.
Oh no, I tell people man. I'm now at the head office, corporate and commercial banking unit.
That's like the big top tier Premier League, as we said before. Yes, we want to make that note. So if you're not taking notes right now from this man, you're not on ambition again.
No, cheese.
Right? So we're imploring you again, or encouraging you to subscribe for more episodes on matters like these. So Mark, again,
Yeah man.
it was nice having you.
Likewise.
Yeah,
Thanks.
man.
Thank you.
So that's it. Tune in to another episode next time from the BIZcare Podcast.